So you're thinking about visiting Pakistan, or you're Pakistani interested in what this weird foreigner thinks one should not do in Pakistan. Well, here we go. Now, Pakistan is a wonderful country, with friendly people, beautiful nature, some of the highest mountains in the world, and hence beautiful treks. However, as a foreigner, you should not try to hike the mountains alone. Don't do it. It is, easy to get lost, and you would want someone who knows the roads like the back of their hands. As well, some areas should, still be avoided, and locals know exactly which ones. Now, don't ignore the fact that Pakistan is an Islamic country. Now, inform yourself, of all the usual dress and behavioral etiquette before you go. For example, if you want to go to check out a mosque, you shouldn't walk in there with just a tank top. This holds for guys and girls. Just don't do it. It's just weird. Now, don't be surprised if Pakistanis shower you with cakes, sweets, and tea on arrival, just about everywhere. In general, this country is one of the most friendliest I've ever been. People will be extremely happy to see you, come to you, talk to you, invite you for tea. It happened to me that I was just, sitting in this restaurant eating, and he just came and said, "Hey, I just paid for your food. Welcome in Pakistan." Hospitality is such a big thing there. And no, there's no catch, that people want something from you. That's just how Pakistanis are. Now, if you're invited somewhere, bring a small gift. This will be received very well. Don't be surprised if checked by army and intelligence officers. Now, the country stabilized immensely since, the peak of the Taliban activity around 2009 to 2012. But the military still has a tight hold on the country to maintain peace. And the country's intelligence agency is highly active behind the scenes. You might see people with guns in front of stores, a lot of army checkpoints. And this is all to make sure that everything stays safe, and it is, again, far safer than how it was before. Now, don't be surprised about the monsoon season. The monsoon season in Pakistan lasts from late June to early October, and especially in the Sindh and Punjab provinces, there will be heavy rains that can cause floods. So therefore, you should be mindful of forecasts and news reports. Don't assume things run on time. Now, the clocks just work different in Pakistan. That does not mean that things don't work. They do. Just among the hardcore Germans among you, you might have to wait a bit if you arrive at the agreed time. People just come late. As well, if you head to the mountains, and I recommend you to go there because they're stunning, be prepared for long and probably shaky journeys. The roads are high up in the Himalayas, and the highways are just not like you're used to from home. When I did a journey from Peshawar to Chitral, it took us a whopping 13 hours for 350 kilometers, and most of it was like this. Don't fill up on the first course. Often when you visit a Pakistan house for a meal, you'll be served an array of fried appetizers, meats, cookies, and sweets. Oh, food is so good. But all this is not the main meal, even if there's dozens of dishes. If there isn't bread or rice on the table, it's probably just a starter. So yeah, save some space in your stomach for the mains. Don't assume no means no. In Urdu, it's polite, to say no thanks, which is like nahin shukriya, at least once before accepting something. So just be aware of that. If you offer something to a local, always offer multiple times, because in the beginning they probably will say no. This was funny for me as a German, because we are direct, and if you say no, it's a no for me. I take it as you say. Whereas, the other side thought I was rude for not asking again. Gotta love different cultures. This is a funny one. Don't be surprised when Uber drivers ask where you're going before they actually come to pick you up. There's this little chat function in the app, but they do it because some places don't make sense for them to go. For example, if you want to go to a very remote area outside the city, for example, and the app just doesn't pay them enough. Now, I didn't know this, and I was super confused, so I started to joke around. I was like, oh yeah, I want to go to New Delhi. And of course he canceled. And I was like, why don't you come? And he's like, the New Delhi is too far. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's just a joke. I'm just going to this restaurant. I did the request again. He picked me up and he explained me the situation. And now I do understand. Now, don't assume everything is just basic. You'd be wrong. Pakistani tourism really was booming before 9/11, and there are many tourism providers who not only switch to sustainability but also quality. And there's many boutique hotels in the Hunza Valley, overlooking astonishing peaks. And there's really good museums in Lahore. And yes, as mentioned before, you won't have this all the time. I mean, some roads are just bad. I mean, what do you expect so high in the mountains? But no, in general, it's not just basic accommodation where you have a mattress on the floor. There's really some great hotels and stuff there, so you don't have to worry as a tourist. Don't expect vegetarian food to be available as much as it is in India. A lot of food in Pakistan is still based on meat. Now, foodies who have a love of sweet and spicy and exotic flavors, you will have a good time in Pakistan. Some good dishes to try: khemai wala naan, which is like minced meat flatbread, chicken or mutton karari, katakat, and lassi. Pakistani food. If you make sure to follow these don'ts, I'm sure you will have a fantastic time in Pakistan. Also, make sure to check out these top 10 places to see while being there.